Paper scraps. We all have them. We all organize them. You do organize them, right? I'm going to share some card ideas today, pulling cardstock just from my scrap stash. I'll show you how I organize my scraps. It's not very scientific, but I do this so that I have small pieces that I can grab from at any time. To see my scraps and how they turn into cards, stick around. That video is coming up next. My scrap sorting is pretty basic. I have a little divided bin. I actually have two of these. They are no longer available in white, but I will source everything that I am able to. And even though I said it wasn't scientific, what I do is just put my scraps in by size and color. I take 4¼ by 5½ scraps or smaller. I would do larger, but the little drawer that I keep my 2 scrap containers in, because I also have one for whites and neutrals and some of my metallic and specialty cardstocks. But I can't go any taller in the drawer that I have. So when I get a scrap, I roughly drop it in about where it will go. And here's the kicker. I don't sort these by company. I just sort them by color so that I can grab my bin and pull it out quickly when I need to pick some colors. Now for a quick look at how I store my cardstock, I do have a calyx unit in my studio. And I have inserts for IKEA from Stamp and Storage, and I do flat storage and little side storages as well. Now, if I have a 5¼ by 4½ full sheet, oftentimes I will store it with the actual color itself, and that makes it easier if I'm working with a particular product line. I can just pull out the divider that I use, look for a scrap, and go from there. I have a craft room tour that I'll be sure to link below in the description so that if you've never seen how my room is set up, you can check that out. It's a little outdated, but the core of how I set things up is still the same. So let's get into picking some colors for the die set that I'm going to make a card with today. For the first card, I'm going to use this parchment bouquet layering die set. And here's the thing I love about things from Altenew or any company that shows packaging and what you actually need, because I've kind of got all the colors laid out for me. And I will do a little inking, but I think what I'm going to do is just go through my scraps. And here I'm going to say, that would be great for parchment. Do I have a darker brown? I do actually. That could be kind of cute, right? Maybe it's a little dark, but we'll see, because that is going to be the background. So maybe we do that. And here's the thing too. Sometimes you're not going to have the right color, and that's just totally fine. For example, I don't have a ton of pinks, although that could be nice. And then I'm going to pull in some pale blue colors. Let's see, I wonder which one would be better with this. Something like that, where I could ink on there, or something like that. You know, oftentimes I'm just going to pull them all and see what happens. We're going to need some greenery, and there I go. I've just got scraps pulled. Now what I'm going to do next is off camera, I'm going to die cut all the pieces, and then we will add some ink to them. Actually, I wanted to show you first, when I opened this, I didn't realize these are as big as they are. So I am going to need bigger pieces of cardstock. So again, I'll get the figuring of sizes and get everything cut out to put this together with some scraps. So now I've got my core pieces cut out of my scraps. I did have to grab a little scrap of yellow for some centers. Here's the thing, I'm not going to ink blend on this. I'm just going to make straight up cardstock scrap flowers. So I'm going to speed this up and glue all the pieces together. I like to glue on a little grip mat here. This is just some Tim Holtz media mat. It's easy to clean up, and I cut it to size. And here I'm just trimming off some of the blooms that go right onto this stem. This is the new glue from Altenew. It is called the Glue. Comes in a nice size bottle with a little fine tip, so you can easily place your glue down in little delicate areas, such as this bloom. My bloom actually was a little off, but I just decided to set that aside because, as you'll see, you can kind of be a little loose with how you place things. It's all going to look really lovely once it comes together, all wrapped up in the paper package wrap. I didn't even really refer to the guide for this. I just sort of cut the things out and went by feel. and it ends up looking pretty nice. So I love this little bloom. Don't know what it's called. Not really a botanist, but you know, I know cute. So there you go. We'll add this to the stem and press that to hold. Then I'll go on to these other blooms. Now these have keyholes, so they're very easy to line up. They don't take long at all. Just a little glue around the keyhole is all you need to hold it in place. This is a really strong adhesive, and once it dries, it's not going anywhere. And here we'll just tuck in that little center, just like that. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the smaller one, which has the same type of hole, but these are actually little arrows that point up. So, and they have numbers on them too, some of them. And so that even just tells you what order to go in. So you can either follow that, or you can always look at the packaging, which highlights the steps. Here we go. This is almost done. It really just takes time to cut everything out, but once you have it cut out, then it comes together pretty quickly. And next, I'll just trim off a little excess green and move on to the assembly. Now, even though I had a couple mishaps with my gluing, here's what I can do. And what I can do, let's get this out here. Sometimes I just like to have a little glue on my mat, and we'll just glue this together, just like this. So that way I can just kind of drag some of my things through. You have to be kind of quick with it, but I'm not going to assemble the sides until I have most of my piece ready to go. So I'm going to just kind of dip it in here like that. And I'm going to pop one right in the center. Okay. And really this is going to hold all of this down nicely. So I'm not too worried about any of that, but I do want to make sure, let's see here, that I have enough glue that it will, you know, basically keep it in place. And I can do a little bit on the back here too, just where it needs to be. And just kind of lay that in there. I want to have a little bit of it popping up and out like that. Oh, I think this is going to be so cute. But again, you know, just a bunch of scraps, right? And you can do, I mean, there's a lot you can do with scraps. Don't throw away the scraps. Mix and match. Have some fun. Okay, we're going to pick you up here. That. And drag a little through that. And then we'll just start layering everything in. Now, not everything's going to stick out the bottom because I couldn't get the full scope out of my scraps, but that's going to be fine. In fact, I think, no, I like that on the top there. Okay, and then I'm going to think about this guy coming in. Also, before I put this on, let's see here, like that. Oh yeah, I can come over with this. I think what I might do next is once I get this in, then I will put the bottom on because I do want this to kind of have a little glue here and here, and we'll just sort of have that come in here like that. Okay. I might even just cut that one off because I don't think I'm going to need it. Yeah, I think I will. And that's just it. You can cut as you go. It really just kind of depends on where you're at. And we're going to just give you a little snip like that. Okay. Let's do one side of this next. And I will need a little more glue with that. I'm going to trim this too. There we go. And then I'll just finish this out with the little bow, which I haven't cut yet, but I want to show you another scrap that I store. And this one is another critical, it's a little critical setup for my scrap life. All right, we're gonna line you up right at the base of the flower, wrap, and then that is gonna come up right to the edge like that. Okay, now there's a little bulk here, so I'm going to actually put this down and let that adhere. All right, and now I will add this side as well. And that just lines right up on top like that. And I can tuck that down right along the edges, okay? And now I can put the other big flowers on top. I think that's pretty lined up. Let's see here. Yep. And like that. Now I will just layer in a few flowers. And here I'm not as worried about, well, although you know what? I want one of these to be here, and I want some of these to come underneath or come out. So what you can do with your leaves is you can just put a few on the bottom. And just have a couple coming out like that. Right over here again. Just a little overlap. And then that can come down here. Oh, it's so fun. And it's, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just used your scraps to make the magic. So here we're just going to pop you so you look about right like that. Okay. And I think I'm going to put one more up top too to come out of that little area because I kind of covered up that other green. So we'll come here. We'll have you coming up as well like that. And then we'll take another leaf down here, and I'm going to have that coming out here. So one coming out from the bottom as well. Getting you on like that. Oh, make sure you put it the right way. Yes, there we go. We want that little detail sticking up and out. And if I wanted more, I could definitely add more here as well. I could cut more leaves. Just kind of slide it in. Does not have to be perfect. Hold you and you, okay? And that way we just have a little greenery coming out, and I'm going to put this one right down here. So you're just layering in a bunch of goodness however you like it. And let's hover you for just a second so that I can get this so I'm able to see a little more of that blue behind. I decided to cut one more greenery because I would love to have it fit in behind. And I think if I play my cards right, it will. Oh, let's see here. Because see, not everything is glued down perfectly. Yeah, and that can fit right in there. So you can add more as you go. Just keep using those scraps as you will. All right, this doesn't need much glue because it's sliding here. And that way, you just have a little more coming out, which I think is kind of cute. All right, let me grab my other bin to show you the specialty scraps that I store as well. I keep one more bin in my other drawer, so I have two drawers, and I always keep little scraps of gold cardstock because here I want to go ahead and cut a little bow out with some gold cardstock. Let me go ahead and get this cut out and we can add it to the gathering. So here I always try to put things, you know, right at the edge so that this little guy goes right back in there for the next time I need some little extra gold detail. And we'll just pop this out like that. I like to do the throw it down method, and then I can glue this right here. I think I glued this incorrectly because I think it was supposed to layer the other way, but you know what? Again, we live and we learn. Actually, no, that is correct. I'm correct. I don't have as many things hanging out the bottom, but you know what? Yeah, it's all gonna work out. All right, as soon as I get this glued on, I will turn it into a quick card that I will show you the finished result in just a second. Oh my gosh, that is so stinking cute. I went ahead and prepared a note card and just did a little bit of gold spatter on the background. Very, very simple. I just used a little bit of aqua pigment and used a paintbrush. And it gets a little shine in there. And then to finish this off, I'll just put a few pearls. These are self-adhesive, which is kind of nice. So you can say, oh, let's go. Boop, maybe one there. Pick them up with my craft pick. Here's the good thing about these. If you don't like the way they look, you can lift them off before you commit. And I kind of like that because then I know, well, maybe I don't want this here, or maybe I do. And actually, I think maybe just a few here. Mm, it's kind of cute just right there. Maybe up here, or maybe here. Just a few. Now the greeting came from using a press plate that I have used in a number of videos now, and I will be sure to link that video as well because these are amazing and I have been getting a lot of use out of them. But there is my paper bouquet using all scraps from my bin. I'm going to take the same core of scraps and show you one other card that I'm going to make with the leftover scraps of the scraps. Just wanted to show you a second card that I managed to get out of more of the scraps that were remaining. And this is a die set called the Zero Waste Oval Serenity die set, where you can cut out and fill in. I cut out a gold frame, and then I just used the little pieces from my scraps to fill in the colors for this die cut. So that's another example of taking scraps of scraps and making a card. Let's take a look at both cards together and do a quick design review. First, we'll start with card 1, and what we have here are just some repeating colors from the scraps, of course, our pinks, our greens, and our blues. Now, if we look at this combination on a color wheel, let's get around here, and we'll look at, I guess we have our deep pinks here. And if we go across the color wheel, we've got blues and we've got greens. So basically, this is a triadic color scheme that we have here. That's why these pinks and blues and greens have a really high contrast together. And that is a palette that I chose kind of unwittingly. I think I'm on a bit of a triadic scheme kick right now, but that is the color palette for both. And yes, that creates a really nice triangular connection between the colors. Here, of course, I have a little bit of gold spatter, which is a little hard to see here, and I've repeated with a little metallic gold and some matte gold pearls. And of course, this design has lots of white space. I did not matte this. I just put my whole little bouquet wrapped up together as the focal image, the only thing on the panel. And then we have just the simple contrast of thinking of you popped up there. For this card, we have the same colors. We have this nice little oval, and this die set actually has the thin oval that's separate, so you can cut out the inside and the nice frame along with your little floral images. So I glued that very carefully to the edges here by putting some tape on the reverse side, popped in all of these little die cut pieces, and then took another sentiment strip from that same set that this came from and added 3 pearls to the center of the main flowers to finish. This is very minimal, open white space. This oval could have looked really cute too on any of these colors. It could have looked nice on a craft card base too, but I kept them nice and white and clean and simple. I hope this inspires you to dig through those scraps, or maybe just get your scraps organized in a way that makes them very easy for you to reach for them when you need a specific color or you're sitting down to do a bunch of die cutting. I definitely make use of my scrap bin as well as keeping scraps with my main collection of paper, but having them in the bin is so nice and easy to pull anytime I'm starting a new project. Hopefully this video has given you some ideas for storing your scraps and how to just reach for them when you need a bunch of different colors for your card project. I'll have a supply list in the description again for you if you want to check out any of the products I used today. And if you're not a subscriber, I'd love to have you, so hit that subscribe button and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. And while we're here, I'll just pop up my craft room tour. So if you've never seen it, you can check it out and maybe it will give you some ideas for storage in your creative space.